Catholics are being asked to vote their conscience, picking the candidates whose stances follow what they believe. To discuss what the biggest issues for Catholics are, Browne, St. John's University's Assistant Vice President for Government Relations, and Brian Kaszuba of New York Law School. Gentlemen, let's get right to it. We're going to split the difference. You told me what you feel are the biggest issues for Catholics. We have immigration, we have security, we have health care, and we have abortion. We're going to start first with immigration. I want to start with you, Brian. Why?
Well, immigration, the Catholic Church is made up of so many immigrants and has a rich history of serving the immigrants and the immigrant population. And I think what you've seen, especially in the closing days of this election, is a big focus on immigration, on this caravan that's coming up from Central America. And immigration, we know in 2016 was a big issue with building the wall. So immigration, we're a diverse immigrant country. It's not going to go away. It's an issue important to all voters, but in particular Catholics.
Brian.
I agree. Immigration is the number one issue. It's timely. It's in the news. The caravan, 7,000 people coming. Yet the president is telling the Pentagon to have 5,000 troops ready, in addition to Border Patrol and National Guard. And it definitely plays to the swing Catholic vote. And
you both agree health care as well is an important issue. Really quickly, why is that? What needs to change?
Well, healthcare, I think a lot of people have come to realize that they're beginning to like Obamacare, and there's been some fixes and adjustments to it over the years, and now they want to keep it. And you've even seen some Republicans in swing districts saying, I'm not going to, mess with your healthcare. So I think that's an important issue to families and workers, and it's another issue that's not going away.
Brian, before you answer that, you did note that there are some narrower issues that are not being considered. One example of that is the Child Victims Act. Really quickly, that means legislation would give those who were sexually abused as children more time to bring criminal and civil cases as adults. This is legislation that is being considered now. This really drives home how important the outcome of the elections is directly to Catholics. Why is that?
Well, that's definitely a big play in New York State. Obviously, in not only do we have the midterm elections in D.C. to contend with, but should the Democrats take back the Senate in New York State, this would be one of the top priorities that Governor Cuomo has spoken about. Here in the city, there's only one contested real race for that. That's Marty Golden versus Andrew Gennardis in South Brooklyn. And it has come out during their debates on either side. Andrew Gennardis is for the Child Victims Act, but it's not the number one issue that's being played out there. It's more politics of local and transportation issues are getting more focus.
This is being billed as the most expensive midterm in history because, as you both agree, there's a lot at stake, right? There are 435 seats in the House of Rep up for grabs. Democrats must win 23 GOP-led districts to take control there. Meanwhile, there are 35 of the 100-member Senate seats at stake. That said, let me ask you for your predictions tonight. Put them on. Who takes it?
I think the Republicans maintain the U.S. Senate and maybe even pick up a seat or two. I think the House, with a high voter turnout, historically, the party in power always loses seats, an average of anywhere from 25 to 30 to more. So I think the trends are favoring Democrats taking the majority in the House.
Brian.
I agree. I think the problem with the Senate is the Democrats are doing defense on most of those 35 seats. When that's the case, it's going to be hard to pick up the number of seats that they need and save some of the ones that they have that are in play.
I have to get this in the time we have left. Voter turnout is expected to be high. What does this say about the state of our government?
Well, everyone's a winner if you come out and vote. And the high voter turnout is great for a vibrant, healthy democracy. We have a voter turnout problem in this country, and we have a real voter turnout problem in New York State, where we're historically at the bottom. So, like it or not, this election has ginned up energy and enthusiasm on both sides of the aisle, and that's a good thing. I think high voter turnout helps the challengers, and even the bad weather today might also play a factor, so it could be a late night tonight.
High voter turnout, and you mentioned, Brian Kaszuba, Catholic swing voters are important. Really quickly, why?
Catholic swing voters, they're the voters that obviously both sides want to target. You know, the diversity of the Catholic vote has always been an issue. But I think this year, especially now in the wake of the Kavanaugh hearings, where the Republicans have now solidified the Supreme Court and the issues such as abortion, it makes immigration and women's issues more prevalent. And those swing votes, Catholic women are looking to potentially vote more in favor of Democrats this year. Hispanic Catholics more in favor of Democrats this year. Those swing votes are in play more so probably for the Democratic Party than in past years. So that's why they're important this year.
Brian Browne, final word.
I agree, and suburban female voters, especially highly educated female voters, are going to be an important factor to watch. And the number of women on the ballot across the country today is also a growing development, and that could be a factor in the ultimate outcomes.
Brian Browne, Brian Kaszuba, thank you so much. Important insight and perspective. I appreciate that you both joined me today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Liz.